Best in Blue.
Connecting you, the listener, to the everyday inner workings of the Memphis Police Department.
Best in Blue
on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
You're listening to the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, your host, and man, on today's episode, we've got a wonderful person coming in by the name of Lieutenant Tina Halfacre, who happens to be in the Motors Unit with the Traffic Division right here in the Memphis Police Department. She's got a story to tell. She's been around the department, I know, for, oh my gosh, I think it's 30 plus years. So, and you know something else? Lieutenant Tina Halfacre is the very first African-American woman certified motors officer in the state of Tennessee. So you don't want to miss this episode. Don't go anywhere. Stay around with us right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. We'll be right back.
Best in Blue. Best in Blue.
That means we go to the schools, we go to the churches, we do all types of programs to try to build the relationship between law enforcement and the community.
Best in Blue
on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
Hey, I'm Williams Brack, co-host of Grind Set. The insight you gain from us and our guests will motivate you to take the leap into entrepreneurship. Make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast provider.
Grind Set on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
Hi, this is Officer Cassandra Leak with the Dare Great program for the Memphis Police Department, and you are listening to the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
And we're back with the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, and then on today's show, on the Best in Blue, as promised, we've got Lieutenant Tina Halfacre. Man, an old friend visiting with us today. She's assigned to the Traffic Division, the Motors Unit. Welcome to Best in Blue. Lieutenant Halfacre, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
Doing great. Let's get right into this show. We want to talk about, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your journey. You've been on the department now, oh my goodness, what, 2 years I think it is now?
I've been on 32 years.
32 years?
Yes.
Wow. You've seen a lot, right?
I have.
Let's talk about that journey a little bit. What's got you to this point now? You're in motors now, but you started as a fresh cadet way back when?
32 years ago, October 1986. I became a PST.
Wow.
As handling the traffic crashes. But when I came on, my whole goal and thought was I wanted to be the first female on the police department that's certified to ride police motorcycles.
So you knew 30 plus years ago you wanted to be on a motorcycle, right?
Yes.
And so this passion of motorcycles, I guess as a youngster, did you, and if it doesn't have four wheels, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mess with them. I mean, it's not that I think they're unsafe. I think that people just don't watch out for motorcycles. Am I right?
That is so true. That is so true. They disrespect them. They do not pay any attention to them. They think they're farther away than what they are or not going as fast as they may be going.
Let's get back into your journey now. So as a youngster, you started as a cadet, then you started, as a PST, and then you kind of made your way through the department ranks and so forth, and you find yourself now in motors. And let's talk about the origin of the Motors Unit.
The origin of the Motors Unit, it started back January 1920.
Ooh.
And some of the styles of the motorcycles actually look like bicycles. And it actually was considered a squad at that time because 5 or under would be a motorcycle squad. Anything more becomes a unit. And that's what we all have. I have another lieutenant, Scott Mangum, who works with me, and he's the other motorcycle lieutenant. He has, at this time, 6 officers on his unit, and I have 5, but we're attempting to get at least 2 more certified officers.
And so you got a total of 13, including yourself, 13 yes. staff members who patrol. Oh my God, this is a huge city though, right? And so not only do you all do special events with regard to that, or maybe some, that even includes visiting schools, I'm sure, but in terms of traffic, right? And so, yes. I see you all the time out there. Of course, I'm not speeding, so there's no need to talk to me about that later on after the show. I'm not speeding. But what are some of the areas where you guys actually are out on patrol? Is it everywhere?
It's everywhere. We're citywide. We can go anywhere in the city. We receive calls anywhere in the city. You can have a missing child, a missing elderly person, and they call on the K9, and they will call on motorcycle officers. And because of that, we can ride up in the woods, like you can carry the dogs into the woods to look for kids or elderly persons, more so than you can't drive a squad car. Or off in the park, we can get to the location faster. And kids love motorcycles.
Sure.
So if they are hiding, they may come out when they see there's a motorcycle, there's a police motorcycle. So I'll come out and holler, say, hey, here I am, come and get me.
Wow.
But we also do escorting oversized loads. We do funerals, funeral escorts, which require a minimum of 6 motorcycles per detail. We do career days at the schools. We are in parades, the MLK parade. Like I always tell my guys, we're like Mikey. He eats anything.
You guys
they call
anywhere.
motors. We do anything at a drop of a dime.
Wow. You're listening to The Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I want to get back to this piece about you all helping in the assistance of missing persons. And I don't know if we've ever thought about that. You know, of course, you think about the ATVs, the all-terrain vehicles, right? You think about those four-wheelers. Now, you all don't deal with those, right, in your unit?
No.
You don't do it. So, but now you can take one of those motorcycles inside and I guess in a wooded area. Makes sense.
That is part of our training, actually, is they take us off-road. And we have to ride in the mud, in between the trees. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and let me talk a little bit about. I want to ask you about the climates. Is there a particular climate where you guys just cannot put those motorcycles out on the street?
Cannot, you would say ice.
Oh wow.
We do not ride under 23 degrees, but if we have a high-profile dignitary escort or maybe even a funeral, we will.
Like the president was in town back a few months ago. I was down at the airport when he was flying in, of course, and he was going to South Haven, but we had all of our detail right there. All of our special ops people were in place to assist. And I tell people all the time, it's the office of president that you are guarding. You know, we get into the particulars about who the person is, but it's the office that we're protecting, right? And I saw motorcycles. I saw everything rolled out. Correct. That was amazing. That was a great job that you all did.
Well, thank you very much.
And so, getting on to you do the missing persons piece. Let's talk a little bit about the work you do with the schools. I mean, because I've seen where a lot of the motors officers have visited some schools. I remember back a few years ago, my kids were in school, and I'm not as old as I look, but they were in school not long ago, and I think there was a career day visit they had at the school.
Correct. We do career days. Practically every school has called us from time to time. We probably already have done just in 2019, maybe 30 career days. And that's where
30 career days?
Yes.
Wow.
That's where we would take our motorcycles out. And when they cool down, we explain to kids what is going on, what parts are on the bike. We allow them to sit on the bike to take photos. We allow them to, some of them have the mics. They can talk on the mics. They can blow the sirens and push the blue lights. And that's just give us a better relationship with the kids.
Kind of community-oriented policing piece that I think the director's been working on for some years that he's been in office over there.
Yes. You would be amazed how many times we go on Beale Street. Everyone wants to take a photo with a motorcycle officer and on the motorcycle. And we allow them to sit on the motorcycle and take photos.
What is it about the allure of a motorcycle? What is there something about this specific piece of machinery that hits our streets and our highways around the country, or in the world? What is it about? And you've been around them now all your life, right? No doubt. Correct?
All my life. My dad, my granddaddy.
Oh, your dad and granddaddy?
And my 5 brothers ride motorcycles. And actually, my mother went through the motorcycle school.
Get out of here.
No.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a story in and of itself. I'll tell you what, let's hold some of these stories because I want to get back to, we're going to take a pretty short break right here in the Best in Blue. We'll be right back with Lieutenant Tina Halfacre of the Motors Unit with the Memphis Police Department on the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
Riffin' on jazz.
When two friends get together to kick it,
About jazz, it's called Riffin' on Jazz.
catch us riffing on jazz every week right here on your favorite broadcast or podcast platforms.
Riffin' on jazz on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
Hi, this is Lieutenant Tina Halfacre with the Memphis Police Department. You are listening to the Best in Blue, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
We're back with the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. Sitting around the studio talking to one of our favorites, Lieutenant Tina Halfacre with the Motors Unit of the Traffic Division with the Memphis Police Department. Lieutenant Halfacre, thank you so much for your service, almost nearly 33 years now. Just doesn't look it. You just look like you just came out of cadet school yesterday or the training academy yesterday. But I know you got a lot of stories to tell, and we want to get right back into one of those pieces. We were trying to tie this thing together. Your origin, the origin of the department or the unit, how you got your start with the police department, how you got into motors. But we also want to talk about the training. Let's go back to the training piece because people think, oh, I'll bid on a job and I'm just going to become a motorcycle officer. It's not that easy, right?
No, it's not that easy.
Walk us through that piece.
A lot of guys feel like since I can ride on the street, I can pass this motorcycle school. The very first day of the school is the bike is laid on each side, 900 pounds, and you have to be able to lift it up and put it back on the kickstand. You have to walk it back and forth. But you have a 2-week training. You have different patterns that you ride in, and it doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees that day that we put the school on, or if it's 23 degrees, and we even train in the rain.
Wow.
But it is a 2-week
intensive course, no doubt.
Intensive course.
So you're telling me, and I don't know how much a bike weighs, but apparently it weighs at least 900 pounds, right?
At least 900 pounds.
So you've got to be able to pick this thing off of its side, laying down.
Yes, and put it on a kickstand.
I failed already.
Oh, okay.
I failed already. I'm kind of real anti about dumbbells over 60 pounds. But so you do that, and you said the intensity in terms of the heat. So you all intentionally have these classes, no doubt, when maybe there is some inclement weather, right? Where you got a little bit of rain, a lot of heat, and you got some cold temperatures, right? Because
you will ride in that type of weather. Your details or your just everyday riding, going to handle a call will be in that type of weather. If you have a funeral on that day and it's raining, we still have to ride our motorcycle. If it's 100 degrees, you still get out and go handle crashes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And what amazes me about this piece here, you were saying, we were talking a bit offline, that the training, it's a bid process, right? And so officers are welcome whenever there's an opportunity, and you all, I think, are looking to add some more officers to the motors unit, right?
Yes.
What do I need to do prior to? I mean, is there something do I need to get get off coffee? Do I need to start jogging a little bit? Do I need to start lifting weights? What did you do? Tell us how you got through that training piece.
I lift weights, but your whole technique is going to be in your legs. It's leg strength. It's leg strength, and that's for picking the bike up, because during this 2-week course, you may drop the bike 100 times. And the officers, the trainers, instructors are not coming over to help you pick your bike up. You have to pick it up and finish your pattern. So it's mostly going to be your strength in your legs.
So deep knee bends helps a lot, right?
Yes.
No doubt, right?
Yes.
Wow, you got to be good. And so now the training part. You listen to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. But getting back to some more of this training piece, what do you all conduct it? Do you bring in an outside vendor that does this, or do you all do it yourselves?
No, we do it ourselves. We have the Memphis Police has certified instructors, and the county police has certified instructors, and we come together to put these classes on. Sometimes we have county officers that are being in this school wanting to be on the motorcycle unit, and we have Memphis police officers that have bidded to try to get on the motorcycle unit. So we will come together as one, the same way we do on our details.
Sure.
The county, Bartlett, and even sometime Mississippi will come up and help us with this. But Yeah, it's a bidding, and it's 9 patterns, I believe, 9 to 12 different courses that you have to train and get certified on, and you have to pass each one of them.
What is there a passing rate like 90%, 89%? You've got to exceed expectations, no doubt, right? I mean, we don't want you passing with like a 51, right?
No, your Lord,
I can only pick up 51% of this bike, y'all. What the other 49? I need some help on, right?
No, it's just like the firing range. Ours have a 75 grade. That's the lowest grade you can make for passing. So
you got to be able to exceed expectations, no doubt.
Yes.
Right. We've gotten to this training piece now. I'm now that I've gotten certified, I'm ready to be now to be in this class. I've got to be chosen first of all, right? I've got to get to be an officer, to be a motors unit officer.
Right.
I'm there, certified. Now what? Do I get assigned a bike tomorrow? Am I ready to go out and hit the streets now?
You're going to do about a few more weeks of on-road training and off-road training. You would get the bike. That one may not be yours on that day, but you eventually will have one that's just assigned to you. But you will ride with the certified instructors. You would do off-road, that's riding in the dirt, the mud, over tree limbs. Then you'll have street training to pair beside that officer, and you go handle calls.
Now, I was wondering about that. Unlike when you're in a police car, right? You're in a car and you got the senior officer sitting there to your left or to your right, and you're driving, or you could be driving. That reactionary time is a little different, but now you're in control of your bike.
Yes.
That other senior officer right next to you, it's a whole different kind of ball game, isn't it?
That's the reason you have to get to know your person.
Yeah.
You get to know your partner, and then your trainer or your most senior person will ride on the left.
Oh.
On the left. And if he clutches, you clutch. You will know if he's going to either approach this intersection, and if the light changes to yellow, if he's going to continue. You will get to know your partner just the same way it's like a life and death in the squad car. Yeah. You're going to know your partner. Yeah. You're going to know his mood swings. You're going to know if he had a good day or not.
Yeah.
Because you become one as a family.
Wow. And we've gotten to the street now. Now I've gotten out of this off-road training. You said the off-road training, over branches, over limb.
Yes.
Those bikes can handle. I mean,
if you know how to ride your gray area with your clutch and your brake.
Wow, I cannot ride a bike. I'm not gonna get.
Don't forget to put your foot down when you stop.
Don't forget to do that.
Don't forget to put your foot down.
If you don't put your foot down when you stop, what's going to happen?
Your gravity is going to give in and your bike is going to fall.
And that 900 pounds on that leg. Have you all ever had any of those types of instances happen?
We have.
Yeah.
We have.
Wow.
Yes,
amazing.
We have.
Now we got the person out of that training. Now what? Now am I assigned my bike? Now do I get my bike?
Yes. And you get your motorcycle number and you get out there and handle calls.
Just like anybody else on the ship. Yes. You guys run how many ships? 3 ships? One?
No, we have 2 shifts.
2 ships?
6 to 2 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So typically you don't ride a lot at night, would you say, like overnight? Let's say the Charlie shift 11 to 7 or 10 to 6 or something?
Right. We don't do the night. It's not as
because
safe.
of visibility piece? Yeah.
Correct now, but we do handle details at night.
Sure.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, hold that thought, because we got a lot more information. We got a whole lot of information, just a little bit of show. We'll be right back, right here on the Best in Blue with Lieutenant Tina Halfacre with the Motors Unit on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
Hey, I'm Williams Brack, co-host of Grind Set. The insight you gain from us and our guests will motivate you to take the leap into entrepreneurship. So stay with us. What's your grind set? And if you happen to miss some of our episodes, make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast provider.
Grind Set on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
Hey, I'm Mike Spencer, Administrator of the Emergency Communications Bureau with the Memphis Police Department, and you're listening to the Best in Blue, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
We're back. Right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network with Lieutenant Tina Halfacre of the Motors Unit with the Traffic Division of the Memphis Police Department. And we have we made a big circle. We've talked about the origin of the department. We've talked about her. We've talked about some of the issues that they face out there on the road as well. And also the training. It's just not that easy to be a Motors Unit officer, right, Lieutenant?
Correct.
There's a lot of work that's in this thing.
Correct.
I did learn it's 900 pounds or more.
Yes.
And I need to stay away from motorcycles, no doubt. Let's get into, I want our listeners to always walk away, always look for another episode of Best in Blue, but I want them to take away some tips. Let's talk about some safe driving tips, because you are part of the traffic division, and you're out there every day. And your office is not at 201, or it's not at the Central or the South. It's on the streets out there, and your officers are out there on the streets every day, and they see a lot of things. Right. Let's talk about some safe driving tips for our listeners.
I'm going to say safe riding tips first.
I like that. Safe riding. Let's do that. Safe riding tips. I'm good with that.
Riding your motorcycle, you should wear long pants. You should wear boots that cover your ankles in case you go down. That will help prevent it from getting broken. The pants will keep you from burning yourself on the pipes or the asphalt, because having blue jeans on or long pants, if you do go down on a skid, that material will burn first, and you will slow down more before it get to your skin. Okay, you should wear sunglasses, some type of goggles to prevent rocks, bugs from hitting your eyes. You should always wear a DOT helmet, always.
Repeat that, because a lot of times, I'm not going to say what street they're on, but a lot of times I see folks not with that piece you're talking about right there, the DOT.
Those DOT, it has the word DOT on the back of the helmet. And that's a certified helmet.
Yeah.
It's a certified helmet. It will keep from cracking most of the time if you go down. These bicycle helmets or these pretty chrome dome helmets, they're going to crack. If they crack, there your brain is.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
exposed.
It's very exposed, and you should wear gloves. That's another protection for you if you go down. To keep you from skidding the skin off your hands or breaking your hands.
You know, and I know you see this because you have off days like anybody else, and you're in your vehicle or on your bike, right? And not only just in Memphis, but when you're traveling around the country. I find it very disheartening to see a lot of, I think I would say, our younger people on some of these, and I call them crotch rockets because I don't know any other word for those things. I mean, there's some high-powered, and I see, you got maybe your girlfriend or somebody on the back, or either a friend, and I don't see the long pants. I don't see the gloves. I see everything but what you just told me.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, what you just told the listeners. I mean, I see I see the cute helmets. I mean, what type of education do you all do, or can you do, to help our citizens understand that you got to have some of these things on because it helps, right?
Correct. I would tell the passengers, if the driver of the motorcycle is wearing a DOT helmet, leather coat, boots, you should have it on, because he's holding on to the handlebars. So he's more secure to the bike if he has to hit brakes fast because a car didn't see him and turned in front of him. You're going to go over his head and go airborne. And there you are with these heels on, or shorts, even guys that like to wear shorts.
I've seen it.
It's just straight skin and asphalt.
Wow. You're listening to The Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we're sitting here having a wonderful conversation with Lieutenant Tina Halfacre of the Motors Unit, and we're talking about some of those safety tips for riders. Now, what about those of us who drive vehicles and we're not used to seeing a motorcycle in the lane over from us, or to our left or to our right? What should we be watching out for, Lieutenant?
I've had some motorcycle officers that on duty had cars to turn in front of them. A couple of them here on Union. And just give them respect. It's a smaller vehicle. It's less pounds, less tons, but you should anticipate that he's going faster than what it appears. He's closer to you than what he appears. I ask you not to even turn in front of a vehicle or a motorcycle until it's safe.
Yeah.
People say, well, I made a left turn, and why am I getting a ticket? If it was safe, you wouldn't be getting a ticket. So you wouldn't have gotten struck. You wouldn't have struck that vehicle. When you're driving your cars, check your mirrors before you get over. Put your signal on before you get over. If the light's turning yellow, go on and apply your brakes. Give the motorcycles just much respect as you would if it was a vehicle. Treat that motorcycle driver if there was a relative of yours.
Wow.
And you wouldn't want to turn in front of them and hurt
Safety
them.
first, right?
Safety first.
Safety first. And again, I hate to go back, but I've seen it myself. I'm on the interstate on 55 or 40 or wherever I'm at, and these folks are just weaving in and out. That's illegal, right?
Yeah, it's illegal. Straddling lanes is illegal. It's illegal.
Well,
try to be patient. And motorcycle drivers, you have to be more anticipating because we did on Monday, distracted driving. They're texting.
Gosh.
They're on the phone. If they're on the phone, their mind is into the phone rather than a Bluetooth. We saw a couple of people Monday had a whole plate of food in their laps and driving and eating.
That's distracted driving.
Very much.
So let's talk about real quickly distracted driving. Not only when it comes to motorcycle, but distracted driving. Period. Just shouldn't be done.
That shouldn't be done.
Put the cell phone down.
Put the cell phone down. Get a Bluetooth. It is you have a Bluetooth. You're going to concentrate more on what's in front of you.
Sure.
But if you have the phone up to your ear, you're going to concentrate to your ear. Wow. Okay, and no texting at all. You figure out, look down, blink, do a couple of letters. I look up, there's a car in front of you, or there is a motorcycle in front of you. And I see a lot of people that have their dogs in their laps. Your dog does not have a driver's license. He does not belong in your lap. He wants to look out of the window, let him look out of the passenger window.
There's 3 other windows he can look out of.
Correct, because if you apply your brakes, your safety is you're going to treat your dog as if it was your child. You're going to try to secure him with your arm, and that's going to take your hand off your steering wheel take your foot off of your brake. And you don't want him to go through the window, so keep him over in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, or the rear seat.
Wow. Any more tips? Any more safety tips as we get ready to get out of this place?
Slow down.
Slow down?
Be more aware.
Well, I try to slow down. It is still 55, right?
Yes. and leave the house earlier.
That's one of the things we don't do, right?
Correct.
Everybody's in a hurry to get to somewhere real fast, and you got to wait when you get there, when it's all said and done.
Correct. We do have a couple of rodeos coming up.
Sure.
And
are they annual? So if they miss them this time, they can get them next year and year after that and
yes,
so forth?
We have one going on in South Haven at this moment. We have one that will be coming up in Memphis. We have them all over the country, and it teaches and shows exactly what you can do with a motorcycle. It's just like a horse rodeo. We have motorcycle rodeo. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I got to check that out one day.
You should.
Any tickets on you? No. I'm just...
No.
Thanks a lot, Tina, for stopping by with us. A longtime friend of ours here in Memphis, and a treasure that the Memphis Police Department found almost 33 years ago. Lieutenant Tina Halfacre with the Motors Unit. We'll be right back here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
This is the lead recruiter with the Memphis Police Department, Officer Kevin Moore. Join the Best in Blue. Our requirements are achievable. Our standards are the highest. Our officers are the finest. We are the Best in Blue. Join MPD.com.
Best in Blue.
You know, as a show here at Best in Blue, we try to make sure we bring you all the hard-hitting facts, all of the information that you need to make great decisions as you go about your business here in the city of Memphis and even around the world. We want people around the world to check out our show here on Best in Blue on our podcast, but we want to make sure that you get a chance to listen to those officers who make up what we consider to be the Best in Blue. Lieutenant Halfacre today, she told us about her origins, how she got started with the department, how the Motors Unit started in January of 1920, and how it's kind of progressed over those years. And also, she left us with some safety tips. It's always good to make sure that when our folks come in and they know something extra, that they always impart that wisdom to our listeners. So, you know what? Check out plenty more of our shows of the Best in Blue. Those episodes are out there. They're out there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you know what? They're also out there on KUDZUKIAN.com. So until next time, right here on Best in Blue, we'll see you again right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN Network.